Hey guys, Mike with Chasing Horsepower, and this is the 2025 Nissan Murano, and it could possibly be one of the best vehicles Nissan has ever made, but it could also have been built at one of the absolute worst times. In fact, sales for this car right now are far below what the manufacturer thought they would be here in 2025. So low that they're actually at corporate offering dealers between $1,000 and $2,000 to take them off their hands and store them at dealerships for consumers to hopefully buy. So what's the scoop? We're gonna break it all down for you guys. This is Chasing Horsepower. Who wants to talk driving the Nissan Murano? All right, well, let's break it down. We're probably gonna spend more time talking about safety features than we are about the performance of the vehicle. But with that said, we're in standard mode. Down on your center console, you have what's called D mode, and in the D mode, you've got Sport, Standard, and Eco. I like to roll in the Standard for the first part of the test, so you know, it's pretty smooth. 9-speed automatic transmission means that the shifting is gonna be pretty smooth. You got a lot of gears to roll through. You've got good stability with the Murano. It's a bigger, you know, crossover sport utility vehicle, but your power band in driving isn't gonna be all that high. I hear the engine, it's not loud, which is fantastic. And if you really think about it, who needs to be the first one to the red light? Like, you don't need that kind of speed. But what I will say that is cool is that if you take the D mode and you put it in sport mode, which we're in now, that's gonna change the transmission mapping. So that essentially means that if I wanna get on it, the car's gonna pick up its speed, right? It's gonna really engage that turbocharger, and it's gonna give you the feeling, if you will, of a car that's moving faster, and in some cases it might be moving quicker. You also have the ability to go into manual mode, and the way you get to that is you've got your D button down here. You park, reverse, neutral, drive. If you go to the D button and you put it in normal drive, if you want to go into manual, you just hit it again, and then you can start using the paddle shifters. Here, I just downshifted into second gear. So as we make this turn onto just a nice back country road, it's gonna hold it in second gear. Holding in second gear. I love that. A lot of automakers want it to automatically shift. I'll put it in third. And now if I want to get a little bit goofy and play around with the manual paddle shifting gearbox, I can, right? So if I wanted to pass this guy, look at that. Good passing. Easy. So yeah, maybe I'm knocking that 241 horsepower too much, but when you use the manual, it's gonna move through those gears pretty quickly. We got some sweepers coming up here in a minute. We're gonna get a chance to feel what the suspension's like, but all in all, that passing in that manual mode, not too bad. I would say that your suspension could be a little bit tighter because you're carrying a lot of weight in these turns, and it's something to be thinking about. You're not in a performance vehicle, you're in a crossover sport utility vehicle, but we kind of gave it a little bit of a push in that turn, and you could feel the vehicle drift a little bit. So think of it more as a full-size SUV as opposed to a sports car. All right, so let's talk safety. You're gonna get Nissan Safety Shield Standard. In fact, it's standard across all lines of vehicles at Nissan. And then you're also gonna get Pro Pilot Assist, and Pro Pilot Assist, I think it's 1.0. So front crash avoidance, rear pedestrian detection, we're gonna call it level 2 semi-autonomous driving. So a little bit of hands-free. And then rear pedestrian detection, crash avoidance. So all the standard safety features that some automakers, you know, offer as an option on this, you're gonna totally get it as standard. So that's a value proposition, right? You also have a vehicle that has won a handful of awards. The new Murano has won the IIHS Top Safety Award. That's the Insurance Institute for Highway Safety. So that's kind of a thumbs up for it as well. And I would imagine that if we make our way through 2020, when we make our way through the rest of 2025, it'll probably pick up some other awards as well. So all in all, I mean, the driving is exactly what you'd expect it to be with a 2-liter turbo. It's going to be capable. And if you want it to be fun, you can make it a little bit fun. All right, so what's the scoop, guys? It's a brand new, all new 4th generation Nissan Murano. But it's coming with a bit of a hiccup. Consumers are not buying it. Well, here's kind of the scoop. Nissan is a little bit late to the game in the refresh of the Murano, right? It's now in its 4th generation. It's kind of this crossover sport utility vehicle, and it competes with a variety of different vehicles in the market. And what we've seen over the past year is that consumers are slowly starting to shift away from these mid-size crossover sport utility vehicles, and they're moving into full-size larger SUVs, or they're looking at trucks. The problem is the market for these is starting to shrink a little bit, and so Nissan entered this into the market at kind of a rough time. Add on top of that the discussion between Nissan and Honda and a potential merger, and sales across the party line really kind of being sluggish, have led to where they are at today, where they're just trying to move some of these vehicles off dealership lots. Now, take everything I've said and throw it out the door. Throw it all out the door. I'm going to go against what every other auto journalist is saying in the industry about the sluggish sales with this vehicle. I truly believe that this Nissan Murano could potentially reinvent the Nissan brand. And I know that's a big, bold statement, but if you read any article on the 2025 Nissan Murano, you're going to find one resounding theme. Make that 2 resounding themes. They're going to talk about the negative sales, but the one resounding theme is that they're all going to say the car's great. And I'm going to come on top of that and say it's probably one of the best Nissans that I built, one of the best Nissans that I've driven to date for a variety of different reasons. So let's start with the fact that it's all new and the exterior is completely redesigned. So let's walk around, and as we walk around and talk about it, I'm going to also bring that story back around to the sluggish sales. So as we look at this from a front standpoint, they've completely redesigned the front fascia, and they're giving you something that's new, it's elegant, it's contemporary. They're not following status quo like every other automaker where they're putting their logo here or a big bold embossed logo. It's very subtle and says Murano on the front, and I think that is super classy and elegant. As we make our way around the front fascia and we kind of round this sucker out, you got the bold Nissan logo here. You know, I'm a big fan of Star Wars, so let's call it Stormtrooper white. You got the white on the black, on the white, on the black, on the white, on the black. I'm a big fan of monochromatic color themes and pairing things up nicely. I like 2 colors or 1 color, not 3. They went with 2, and I think it actually looks pretty special. And that's going to be a resounding theme with this, is that they've upped their game in the luxury category. Front crash avoidance, rear pedestrian detection, all that kind of stuff is going to come with it. We'll talk about that when we get out there on the road driving. Pro Pilot, Nissan Safety Shield, standard on this vehicle. I want to focus in on here, crystal cube-like LED lights right here. Some people call them piano key looking lights. I call them crystal cube. I mean, man, if I sit down and look at those are pretty special. In fact, I see a little bit of Range Rover if I get in here kind of tight, and I think that's cool. And then they carry the same theme down here with more LED lighting on the vehicle. Again, I think it's timeless, it's contemporary, but there's also a little sporty nature to this Murano. As I start to make my way around the side, yeah, 18-inch wheels? No, just kidding. 19-inch? Not even close. Are they 20s? Nah, they went up to 21s, which is an option on this with the Bridgestone tires on it. You know, I think what's unique, I always bring this up, Bridgestone based right here in Nashville, Tennessee, Nissan based down in Franklin. It's a good marrying of 2 amazing companies. And when you look at this wheel right here, I mean, this is a pretty cool wheel, but I mean, look at the size of this thing, right? You're looking at 21s. If you've watched my video on the Lucid Air, I was having a little bit of fun, and I was kind of like, well, what's metal? And turns out on the Lucid, you got some steel, and then you got some plastic. So you got the steel here, you got the plastic insert all the way around. Lucid, on their $102,000 touring vehicle that I test drove, does the same thing. This is in that $40,000 category. So I think overall they've done a good job. As a performance guy, I always think about that wheel gap right here. And this wheel gap is pretty tight. I mean, for a vehicle of this size, you take those 21s, you mount them up on the inside. I mean, it gives it a more of an aggressive look. So as we talk about aggressive look and start to make our way down, I'm gonna have Tanner slide around the front. kind of give me this angle right here. You're looking at 2.6 inches wider than the previous Murano, right? Big, bold, different. 2025 marks a new year for the vehicle, and it's 2.6 inches wider. I think that's pretty awesome. You come back, you got the white with the Stormtrooper black up top, and then you've got Nissan's floating roof line. It's something that they always talk about. And I usually avoid chrome, but I kind of dig the fact that they went with the one subtle chrome strip. That's it. Boom, elegant. All the way up over the top, all the way down to the rear. I want to point this out. We're going to go inside in a minute, but they went for the wide opening door. It's a 90-degree opening door. You usually find that in higher-end luxury vehicles. We saw that in the Lucid Air as well. And by the way, we're going to talk about the color on the inside, but why is everybody dogging Nissan? There's no reason to. This car is freaking legit. And I've said it since I was at the original debut of the vehicle down in Franklin. I think it looks good. As we make our way around to the back, you got more of those crystal cube-like piano keys right here. Look at piano keys right there, crystal cube-like right here. And just step back and look at this. I mean, you got such a great angle, and look at the back of this vehicle. I see some Porsche in there. I see some Volkswagen Touareg in there. Again, I'm like, man, why are people really ragging on this vehicle and not willing to go buy it? I think it's because they know that Nissan's been in a bit of a slump, right? So when I look at this, I just take it at face value and I go, it's a pretty cool looking car. Look at this, even a little, you know, additional design theme piece with this trim that arches over the back. Think about how ugly it would look if they just kind of cut down and you just saw the rear hatch. But no, they went for a nice smooth look here on the rear. Nissan logo, pretty cool. You hit the little push button right in the center of Nissan, opens it up to the interior. I believe you're looking at about 96.3, 96.4 cubic inches of space on the inside of this with the 60/40 seats dropped down. So I think that gives you plenty enough space, right? You can load a variety of things on the inside of this Murano. Big trip, little trip, doesn't matter. They're gonna give it all to you with this. Let's just take a peek. What do we got in here? That is your Bose speaker system. That's your subwoofer. Check that out, man. So they put the subwoofer right here in the back. I don't even know what this is. We're gonna check it out though while we're here. Continental. So this is, you're gonna put this in your tires if you get no, that can't be it. I gotta get my glasses out, gang. We gotta find out what's going on in here. I didn't know we were gonna have a little secret Easter egg. I gotta be able to read what I'm seeing. Continental Conti Mobility Kit. So if you get a flat tire, warning, tire sealant. So that's a tire sealant right there. You got a little mini air compressor right here. Why people ragging on Nissan, man? It's stupid. Don't rag on them. This car's freaking got so much cool stuff. So that's the exterior, right? Let's hop inside. Let's take a look at what the interior has, because I got a feeling when you guys follow along with this video, you're gonna say the same thing that I've been saying, and that is, it's a pretty cool car. All right, we're on the inside of the Nissan Murano, and I'm gonna note this because that little tiny BMW out the window over there, that's my daughter's 2013 BMW. You know the number one thing she asked me about? Dad, how many different ways can I change the color on the inside of this? Does it come in pink? And I'm like, who cares? But guess what? People do care. This has 64 different colors of ambient light, or 64 different colors that you can choose from, and that's pretty cool. Speaking of color, your heads-up display also will be displayed with color. Most automakers are just standard white, but you're going to get a color option on this. So when you're looking at your map for navigation, it's going to be pretty freaking cool to be able to see what's up there. And then while we're talking about my daughter, I don't even know what kind of music she's listening to these days. I think her name is Sexy Red, but I don't even know. What I can tell you is that this has a 10-speaker Bose system in it, which will crush that BMW over there. So you want to talk about cranking out the tunes? Like, oh, this is bad. I don't want to listen to whatever this is, but I can tell you it's got some great stereo speakers in it, so you can pump out the awesome tunes. I think people are insane. I understand you want a BMW, you want an Audi, but this thing on the inside, for the price, can compete with some high-end luxury vehicles. Is it the the top level grade, no, right? They're going to reserve that in, of course, within Nissan, they're going to reserve that for Infiniti, right? So you're going to get semi-aniline seats on the inside, and we'll get to the seats in a minute, but I just want to point, they're not, we're not talking leather. You're going to get massaging seats. I mean, things that you don't normally associate with a Nissan product. So let's break it down. Let's get deep into this. I'm going to start with the steering wheel, right? So steering wheel's all new on this Murano. They've gone with a flattened out bottom simply to make it easy to get in and out of the vehicle. And although it's something subtle and small, it's important, right? So I'm a big dude, and if I'm gonna get out of the vehicle, like, look, I've got no additional steering wheel coming down at me. So refinement on the steering wheel, you've got your Pro Pilot Assist on the left side, you got volume control, and then on the right, voice control, and just all your entry features, meaning, you can scroll up and scroll down, determining what it is you want on the screen in front of you. I like the simplistic nature of it. It's stitched, it's not a plastic steering wheel. It's got this kind of stitching feel all the way around. I think overall it's great. And then you've got paddle shifters. We'll talk a little bit more about those when we get out on the open road, but I don't want you to hold your breath on. We're not going to be talking a lot of performance on this Murano. All right, so screen, dash, everything up top. So you're looking at two 12.3-inch screens. One is your main instrument cluster that will feature Google Maps, wireless, which is really important, Android Auto and Apple CarPlay. I know it used to be in Ford, you'd have to plug into your USB to get it to work with your Apple CarPlay, but this is all wireless, which is fantastic. And then this is kind of cool too. I just want to point this out. Your screen is not split into two, it's split into three. So you can see my phone over here, appropriately named Airport Surveillance. I love messing with people at the airport. Then you got your Apple CarPlay button right here, and then you got your Google Maps, and then kind of in an L-shaped 90 degrees, you have all your additional buttons. It's touchscreen. It's a little further away than I would want it to be. I think General Motors does a great job how they articulate that screen, making it more driver focused. And then you got a 12.3-inch screen over here as well. Very simple, very, very easy to move around. I wanted to point out this as well as we think about interior themes of this vehicle. There are 3 themes on this vehicle, but all of them surround the concept of what Nissan, and we call it the golden hour, right? Sunset. We think about the most beautiful lighting, the way the sky looks. Those are the 3 themes. They're all based around the golden light, the golden hour theme on the inside of this vehicle. So kind of carrying your way down, looking at some of the design cues as well. You've got your main dash up on top, but I love this little subtle trim piece that's in here. It's got a variety of different colors that are mixed in, and they kind of follow that same theme of the golden hour, right? Just kind of a beautiful sunset over here with the blue sky filling in. I know it sounds corny, but I wanted to point it out. This could be my most favorite part of the interior of this Nissan Murano, and I'm going to tell you why. 2025, everybody wants to be like the most technologically advanced car company in the market. You got buttons, you got dials, you got computer this, and you got computer that. Look how freaking simple this is. And it's integrated into the actual dash component as well. So if I want to increase, my air, it's just a nice little subtle button in here. And this is all your climate control. I just think that's amazing with the Murano button, Murano logo above it. I will tell you what's going to happen though. I'm just telling you, mark my words on it. If you have this car for 3 or 4 years and you're pushing these buttons every single day, you're going to start to see this faux wood start to break away. Not break away, but start to diminish in color. You'll start to see your fingerprint and whatnot, your finger marks on here, if you will. Am I making sense? If I'm not, I'll say it one more time. Over the course of 3 or 4 years, if you keep pushing the same spot every single day, it's going to deteriorate, right? You're just going to start to see a little bit of a deterioration right there. 2 USB-C charging ports down here, which is great, included with wireless induction. And then as you make your way down, 2 cup holders. You got your D mode, so you can put it in sport, you can put it in comfort. I think that's pretty easy. And then obviously your park, reverse, neutral, and drive mode. You do have a manual in here as well. I am going to point this out. Auto start stop. It's a button. It's right here. I don't have to search for it. I don't have to go through the computer. I can turn it on and off right here. Thumbs up to Nissan for making that part easy. I probably would have taken this though and hit it up on the side up here next to these other 5 buttons, just so it's not the main button that I look at right here. And then my cameras. If I hit my camera button, it's going to activate my cameras. This does come with 360 degree camera option on it. So if you look on this, I'm going to be able to look at the vehicle, spin it all the way around, look at different features. By the way, this one right here, this is called, Tracy, what is it called? Invisible hood view. Okay, cool. So this right here, if you hit your camera button, this one specifically is called invisible hood view. And it allows you to look through the hood and see what's directly in front of the vehicle. So you know when you scrape that curb when you're pulling into a parking lot in a low profile vehicle, well, this is going to help prevent against that. Volume button right here, center, very easy. And then you got air down there on the right side for the passenger. You got two right here in the middle. And then you got one on the driver's side as well. I like the location of them. If I want to push it up towards my face, I can do that. But I like the lower positioning. And then it's going to be hard for you to see this on the left side of this volume button. But your hazard light button, it's right here. I don't have to look for it. It's really easy. But they kind of tucked it away, which is cool. And then you got traction control on the right side as well. Oh, we're gonna play music too right now. Accidentally hit that volume button. But you can see all in all, this area is pretty awesome on the way that they design it. Let's talk seats. So Nissan is calling this Twilight Blue, and that probably ties into their golden hour theme. So you got massaging seats, you got heated and ventilated seats. The design pattern is cool. And then they carry it up into this additional pattern up top, this diamond stitching, right? I mean, they're going the extra mile to give the consumer something that they really want, and that's kind of a customized vehicle. You get that. And then look at your moonroof, man. Sunroof goes all the way. Like, what else you want me to tell you, man? It's a good design on the interior of this vehicle. Let's hop in the second row and see if this is a Nissan, because Nissans are known for second row seating capacity. Let's go check it out. All right, so 90-degree door. Just stay with me. Check it. In. What if it was here? Or like right there. That's most cars, right? Ugh, 90 degrees. I know, I'm being dorky, but check that out, man. That's awesome. So you get inside now. This seat is all the way back. Holds true to Nissan being one of the most roomy vehicles on the road. Check this out. I got plenty enough room in the back. I got the cutout insert in the seat. I mean, I'm digging it. I really am. And then if you I'll get my legs out of the way, kind of look at the side panel over here, right? You got a couple different color options in here. I mentioned the ambient light. We're rolling the red right now. I mean, the red, the blue, the black, it kind of gives it a cool look. Kind of semi-polished, brushed aluminum look here for your door handle. And then who doesn't want a car with peasant blockers, right? Boom, peasant blocker. It's not electric. You don't have to worry about it breaking. You just got your peasant blocker right here. Goes up and down pretty easy as she goes. It's a Nissan. It's not the high-end luxury vehicle, but I want you to go with me on this. Massaging seats up front, heads-up display, Bose speaker system. You got peasant blockers. You got lots of room. It's kind of a luxury vehicle for a fraction of what you would pay for something else in the category of luxury, right? Lincoln Corsair, price is going to go up. Electrified Cadillac Lyriq, not even in your price category. This is. 2 USB-C charging ports down here. Heated seats. Why not add? Let's just throw them in as well, Nissan. That's my point, gang, is that when you're looking at a vehicle, you got to look at what the whole package is. You can't just go, it's a Nissan. You got to look at what the whole package is, and they're giving you a lot of options with this, and I think that's fantastic. The seating in the second row follows the same theme as the seats in the front row. You can put your car seats in here as well. You got the latches for that. So all in all, second row seating exceeds my expectation for a vehicle on the road today. I mean, good job, Nissan. All right, we've talked about the beautiful exterior, we've talked about the beautiful interior, we've talked about luxury, creature comforts, awesome amenities. Now we're gonna talk about the engine. And I'm not gonna lie to y'all, I actually did a take before this, and in that take I was like, bleh, bleh. So I'm gonna step it up, I'm gonna try and be a little bit more positive. So I think personally, as an auto expert and somebody that reviews cars, that Nissan kind of missed the boat on this as far as the engine packaging goes. You got a 2-liter, it's turbocharged, it's pushing out 241 horsepower with 260 pound-feet of torque. It's got a 9-speed automatic transmission. 1, they didn't offer a hybrid. 2, they should have just put in a better motor, a bigger motor. Like, you got the complete package, right? When I'm getting on the freeway, I want to enter freeway speed. This 2-liter is not really there. And to get the RPMs up high enough with that turbo, I mean, you're really having to hit that accelerator down, right? So when you think about Nissan's history and its heritage, right? The Z, you think about the GTR, you think about high-performance vehicles. Like, I think they dipped their toe in the water with this, but they didn't go all in, and they should have done that. You got paddle shifters. I'm never going to use them in this vehicle because I got a 2-liter pushing out 241 horsepower. It doesn't make a whole lot of sense. I think it's cool that they actually give us towing capacity with this. You're looking at about 1,500 pounds, so you could maybe pull a little R-Pod tent or a trailer. But again, it just, I think given the size, the 2.6 inches of wider feel, I think they could have just given you a little bit more motor to make it the ultimate package. And not having a hybrid, it's a pretty big miss. All right, let's close it out on the 2025 Nissan Murano. Obviously, there is a lot of information to digest in this review, right? We're talking about the pros and cons of this vehicle. And I would say overall, if I had to rank or rate this car 1 out of 10, with 1 being the worst and 10 being the best, honestly, I think I'd put this car at like an 8, man. I think it's just a very well-balanced vehicle. The only thing preventing a 9 or a 10 is the engine. So that leaves us with one thing for you to take into that final consideration point, and that is going to be the price. Now, if you want to get your hands on one of these, there's all kinds of incentives right now. At the dealership level, I've seen interest rates in the 1, 2, and 3 category for lease payments. I've seen some pretty aggressive financing on them as well. So that leaves us with the price. So you're gonna be looking just north of $40,000 as an absolute base for the front wheel drive version. It's gonna be, you know, very few bells and whistles, but it's gonna get you into the Murano. This one, which is more fully loaded and prices tested, it is sitting right around $53,000, $54,000. So that's what you have to decide, right? Do you wanna get a higher end luxury vehicle and pay that price point that goes with it? Or do you want to get a vehicle that is pretty freaking well equipped like this Nissan Murano? That's ultimately the choice that you're going to have to make, right? I hope you all enjoy this video as much as we've enjoyed putting it together. And as always, man, smash that subscribe button below because we love bringing you guys this kind of content. And if you're not following along on all of our social channels, it's pretty easy. Just look for Chasing Horsepower, and that's where you'll find all of our reviews, tips, tricks, and hacks on everything in the auto industry.